Right, are we on? Are we on? Right, let me check. Yes, we are. 7 of you are waiting. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Oh, good evening, I should say. Welcome back to Send It's Weather channel. Now, there's been some updates since last time. We've got new internet. Cheers, Mum, for getting the internet sorted. So we should be good now. Just have a look through the chat really quickly. So we've got Chris in here, epic videos. Yeah, no, thank you. You never expect to be this early. Well, today's your lucky day, I guess. And John, hello, John, hello, hello to you. Well, so we're going to be having a look at the latest, as we always do. Well, we've already got 8 of you already in here. I'm surprised. Fingers crossed for the internet. Ears open, Danny. Ears open. Hi, Hazel, how you doing? Bet your care is on the way. But we're going to get straight on with things as it is anyway. We're going to have a look at the latest data. We'll have a look at the live radar thing. We'll have a look at everything really. So we'll get on there, and we'll start by keeping the chat on. If I can find the button to keep the chat on. There we go. We've already got 11 likes on stream. Wow. Cheers, everyone. Yep, Chris saying hello to Hazel. There we go. So we'll start then with UKV. We'll start with short range. We're just going to get straight on with things today. How does that sound to everyone? Pretty good? So if I move that down to there we go. So it might be cut off a little bit. I don't know. That looks alright. So precipitation. That's all it says, precipitation. So this is today, Thursday. And we'll have a look through. So wintry showers for northern Scotland, dry for many parts of the country. It has been a little bit wintry along the west coast. There's been a few patchy showers drifting inland along the east coast down towards the southeast. If we have a look now, continuing on, a couple of wintry showers starting to fade away through Thursday night into Friday for the north and the east. For the early hours of Friday, there could be a couple of little wintry flakes along the east coast. There's a weather front trying to move in from the west, producing a little bit of snow for the Republic of Ireland. Lots of rain, a little bit of snow for Dartmoor on the south there, in the far southwest. This weather front struggling though against the high pressure. The high pressure's kind of sat to our north. There's a low pressure trying to run in from off the Atlantic, and it's stalling. It's like struggling. It's stalling. So therefore, it's not getting into the country. So therefore, it just kind of fizzles out. But it does produce some rain. And rain for Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Could be a bit of snow on its leading edge, but probably would turn back to rain. Then it's mostly dry, cloudy, cold. We'll have a look at the overnight temperatures in a minute, but it looks cloudy, cold, and then eventually in the longer term we go a bit more milder. Well, for the north anyway, the south might be quite cold. But the north looks a bit milder with winds in from the southwest at this point, and we see more wet weather packing in. It could be a bit of a wake up for the north when they've been in the minus 15s in some patchy places in the north, and they might be down to like 10 degrees with that very mild southwesterly wind. You can see that highlighted by the air mass as just sheer contrast. So at the moment we've got this minus 5, minus 6, minus 7 air in. Then you get shoved away, and then there's the plus 10 isotherm. Into Scotland's like a 20 degree upper level air difference. It's crazy. If we have a look at the min temperatures then for overnight tonight, could be, wow, the UKV say minus 15 in parts of the west. I think that's wrong because it's already minus 1 here and it's 7, and I'm kind of in this area to be fair, so I'm not really sure about that one. But it does get down to minus 10 over like the Lake District, the higher ground of Northern England. Tomorrow looks like a very cold day. Many parts not getting above freezing in the north. Actually very cold in the north there. Some places not getting above minus 11 according to this. Wow, that could be a record day. Even parts of the southwest only reaching 3 or 4. Besides the far southwest, where milder air is beginning to move in slightly. It's like that weather front. But many parts of the country around 0 or 1, so very cold feeling. with lots of frost through Friday into Saturday night. Well, another widespread frost as well there possible. Look at Scotland. Wow, -15, -30, it could even be lower than that. So maybe even -16, -17 is possible. There you go, -16 showing up there. So it could be a bit lower over the very highest ground. -17 just showing up right there. That is ridiculous. Even for around me, -4, -5, -15 there for some parts of like the northern England there. Through into Saturday, it's going to still be a widespread freezing day for many. In the north, we're not getting above -10 over the highest ground. And then in the southwest, it's still a little bit chilly, but it is starting to get milder as the milder air starts to move in. Sunday, still a widespread frost, and in the afternoon, the milder air is beginning to clear away. The colder air is beginning to clear away to our east, but it's still very cold for the north, the east, and the south there, with temperatures about 0 or 1 degree. Many parts still looking quite cold there, but you can see it is starting to lift. You see the very mild air just sitting out to our west. Through Monday, do we get a frost? Just about in the south and the east, and then through Monday, the temperatures are beginning to rise. See that north-south split there? The north is mild and the south is a bit colder. With 10 degrees there in the north, where it was previously like -10, and it goes to 10, so about 20 degree difference in some parts there. 10, 11, 12 degrees. In the southeast, so it would still hold on to the cold air, so expect inversions and little things to happen. I've missed some of the chat. Ian, hello. Mild for a while. Yes, very much. James said, heavy snow showers here, 8 centimetres additional fresh cover. Can't wait for something warmer now. Yeah, I bet you can't. Hi, best crazy boy. Fingers crossed. Hope my Carol will be here in the next 16 to 26 minutes. I mean, my payment. Hopefully she will be, and hopefully she's not late. What happened to YouTube or something? I don't think anything happened. Did it, Epic? I don't know. I can only see what's on my end. I've got 25 of you in here. We've got 25 of you in here with 14 likes on the stream. Thank you all for joining us. Let's see if we can get them numbers up. I've got my new, my different cup today. Let me get open this. Oh, it's a good cup. Can hold 2 cups of tea instead of 1. That's a bit harsh, crazy. It's your fault if you lose your carer. You sound a right bear. Alright, that's a bit harsh. Oh, dearie me. Remember their minimum, so obviously the max temps could be a bit higher than that. So don't forget that. There we go. Right, let's move on. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Just like Jono did. Anyway, right, let's stop being silly and let's get on with the chart data. We'll start off with the UK Met Office run, and I'll show you basically the general synoptic pattern. I have no idea what I've just read. Right, so at the moment, we're sat close to a high pressure ridge in the Atlantic. We're still bringing in a cold northerly wind, but things are mainly dry besides in the north and the east. Now, supercomputer at the ready as we go through into Friday. Looks quite mainly dry. We're under a ridge, so quite dry but quite cold. Obviously frosty through the day. Into Saturday, winds start to change into the southwest for the north. However, in the south, it's probably still quite cold as we are sat under under the high pressure instead of it's bringing up a southwesterly, and the cold air's just about holding on in the south and the east till around Sunday before the milder air really starts to move in. Most of the country by Monday has had a complete flip, with high pressure to the south and west and low pressure to our north, bringing in the wind from a very mild southwesterly wind. Could get the temperatures into the mid-teens there. Well, maybe not the mid-teens, but into the teens anyway, just about. In the north there, in the west with the strongest winds, and bringing in some rain. Now as we move through with the UK Met, stays quite like that as well. Stays quite dry, high and dry there. High pressure remaining to the south towards France, and then low pressure to our north, bringing in the wind from a westerly. It looks very mild and quite pleasant there, with temperatures probably getting into the mid-teens there. What else am I reading? We'll be going to our neighbours to call the care in the care ordinator. Never expected the chat being so harsh today. What's this app called? What happened? What happened, Chris? Did someone say something and I didn't see it? I'm glad I didn't. What's this app called? This is Wetter Zentral, and the one I was looking at previous was the Weather Outlook. It's a really good website. I think a YouTuber runs it. There you go. A little bit of trivia for you. Well, let's move on. Do icon next. It's very similar for the next few days. So Hazel's going to be happy about that. She's not happy about the car, but she'll be happy about this weather report. So there we go. High pressure again centered to the south, low pressure to the north, winds in from a very mild southwesterly, looking very dry, especially in the south and the east. Could be cold by night as the high pressure keeps going, but as you can see, with the winds from the southwest, it will be very mild for the north, maybe a little bit colder in the south and the east with an inversion possible, which is where there's no wind and it allows the temperatures to drop, but it doesn't look exactly favourable conditions at the moment. That looks just very mild, and all of that will be rain, especially for the west, which is closest to the low pressure systems, probably the mildest as well. We'll move on to the GFS then, everyone's favourite model. Let's have a look then. So again, there's that breakdown of the cold spell with winds in from the southwest, looking very mild and high and dry. Again, for the south, a bit more strong with the American model with high pressure just to our east, which probably means that there is the possibility of an inversion in central and eastern regions. You can see with the lack of wind there, could be quite cold by night and frosty, but the north looks very mild for the time of year. Winds turn into more of a southerly as low pressure tries to run in from the Atlantic. However, it's just bringing in even milder air. Winds coming up from a very mild southerly direction from about Spain. Most unsettled in the west. The Atlantic does eventually start to break through, but it's still extremely mild with winds in from the west-southwest. Eventually, it goes back into a westerly pattern again. Looks very zonal, very Atlantic-driven, and very mild. So, if you want milder winter weather into the third week of January, you've hated the cold, this is the run for you. The GEM then is very similar in the broad scheme of things. Let's keep going then. Sorry about that. Reading someone's message. So a high pressure remains in dominance through Sunday into Monday with that very mild southwesterly wind. That's very mild. Quite warm actually. Could be 10 degrees in many parts there. No inversion possible because the winds are in from the southwest for all regions. Could be a little bit unsettled in the north, but probably not. With the GM, then high pressure builds over and just to the east of the country and to the south. That is a very strong Azores to the south, keeping it very mild for the time of year. That CET, which is our central England temperature for January, will be flying back up. That is very mild. Nothing much to say about that. 10 degree ice firm covering the south. Temperature deviation 10 to 12 degrees above average. Obviously won't be that at the surface, probably will be about 10, 11, 12 degrees, but still very mild for the time of year. The ECM then finally has the high pressure over and just to the south of the country for much of the period. Winds in from the southwest. By the very end, bringing the Atlantic in, which probably a lot of people might need some rain at this point if the dry weather continues. Winds in from the west though, still very mild, and bringing in a slightly cooler air mass, but it's not anything notable. Still above average. Look at the warmth to our east towards Scandinavia there, with the ECM, which is the European one, produced some very mild temperatures. Look at Greenland though, still quite cold. Although, as you'll see from this run, it's extremely variable. 12 degrees below average to above average. It's just one of those places where it oscillates so much. Really? Let's have a read of the chat. Hello, Foden, how you doing? Winter over for this year. We had a week of snow. Wouldn't say it's over yet, pal. Hello, Chris, how you doing? Chris P. No, thank you for everyone in the chat interested. Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Glad to turn in milder for Hazel, yeah. Hi, Paul James. I like a bit of snow, but not when the ice after my struggles on. Tell you what, it's not fun walking in. It is not fun walking in at all. We'll have a look at my favourite model at the moment, the AI model. We'll put it on the 6 hours because it's the best model. Just saying, most accurate. Not for snow, but Oh, didn't unlock it. That's a good start. Right, let's keep going. Winds in from the southwest for much of the period. So I know some people that will be very happy with that. A little bit more unsettled in the north and the west, and slightly cooler for the north there, with winds in from the northwest around the 19th of Jan, but nothing too notable. The Atlantic's way too powerful. It's really returning. Unsettled conditions, quite wet and windy in the north. They have a little low diving through on the 22nd of Jan. Looks very wet, unsettled, and mild. This run is the Devil's run. If you're wanting any more colder, look at that. 10-degree ice film covering the whole country. There. Look at that. The UK, the mildest place on the graph. Besides up in Canada. But the UK, the mildest place on the map there. 10 to 12 degrees above average. Oh. Everyone would be in a heat wave there. That looks just like such a mild pattern. There you go. Glad I got some snow. Yeah, I got some snow. How did everyone do for snow during that period? Did everyone do alright? Hazel, I'm not going to lie. You saw literally nothing. Barely anything cold, did you? You saw like 2 seconds, if that, of snow. I don't even think you saw any, did you? In that sweet spot where we didn't really see much. We've got 20 likes on stream with 33 of you. Come on, let's get to 30 likes. Thank you all for watching. We'll pull up the CFS, which will forecast out to just past day 10. Very similar, mild, wet and windy with winds from the west-southwest. A little bit of a diver low on that on the 20th of Jan. A little bit colder from the north west there with on the 21st of Jan. Actually a bit colder there, yeah, but it's only a transient ridge, so very dry. Would be cold and frosty though on the 22nd, but it's not going to last long because look what's waiting in the wings, the Atlantic, to bring in some mild southwesterly winds. So by the end of that run, winds are back in from the southwest, and it's mild once again. And it looks like high pressure starting to build towards Scandinavia with a massive cold pull to our east, which we aren't going to tap into. If we have a look at the diagrams, if I pull up, I don't know, Birmingham, 1 minute, Birmingham, there we go, and then put that on that. Oh, it's actually looking a bit better actually, if you want a bit of mixing. Any 15 degree, I am 15 degrees next week, will be 30 degree switch around. That'll be a bit rough to get used to, James, after all the cold. What I will say is, I know it's a long way off, but at least the runs are going back towards average. Like, there's a bit more of a distinct drop than there was a few days ago. You would hope that they would return back to average, but to be honest, what I'd say is most of this back to average is unsettled. Also, I'm having to move that out of the way. So it's starting cold at the moment. This is Birmingham, which I'm looking at. Then it's going milder than average for a time, quite a while actually, about a week. Before then, there is a bit of a drop towards the very end. There's a lot of scatter. There's some colder runs or some milder runs. Overall, it looks around average, to be honest. It doesn't look like there's anything notable in the forecast at the moment. And that's down to, one, the very strong polar vortex, which is keeping in the milder conditions because it's sat to the north, and two are the unfavourable AO and NEO, which is the North Atlantic and the Atlantic. They are both going positive, which means that it heavily reduces the chance of blocking. If we have a look at the stratosphere, let me pull this up. I have to go to this website here, GFS, and then we go 10 HPA strats there. And we go to the Northern Hemisphere. Then you can see that there is a significant warming going on, but it's not an SSW by any means. If we have a look as it continues, then it does move towards the polar regions, but it doesn't really break apart the BV. Just kind of displaces it a little bit. If we have a look further ahead, then it just kind of weakens and moves away, and then there's a renewed warning, but it doesn't really do anything to the polar vortex. It kind of stays intact. So at the moment, it all looks against coldies, and it all looks against the cold returning with a lot of things. Let's have a look what else people are saying in the chat. Any Knight Rider fans here? No idea. Oh, of course, Hazel talking about oh. Epic Videos, my birthday soon. Yeah, happy early birthday. The old vibes are back. Oh, nice. Hello to you, Crift. Hello to Dave. Dave, the snow we had came earlier than usual. We don't usually get snow till Feb, going from previous years, in my opinion. Did anyone see the snow in the south and the east yesterday? And even in the west, also in Somerset. But you had to be. It was very marginal, and you had to be over high ground to see much of it. There. You had to see it. You had to be quite high to see it. I should say, like over 100 meters elevation. There. The GM, on the other hand, with the upper air temperatures, is keeping it milder than average for the whole run. So, if you like your milder weather, you want your cold gone, when it's only got a couple of days left. It's very icy this morning. I did not enjoy it at all, and coming home was not fun either. It was so icy. Let's see if the CFS has extended anymore. Looks very mild and very mild. That's all I can say about that. Well, let's have a look. KMA is out to 132 hours, and that breaks down the cold spell very quickly as well. By Wednesday, it looks very mild with winds from the southwest. This is the Korean model, the South Korean model. Have to make that known, but that's bringing in winds from the southwest there as well. Well, it all looks very mild, doesn't it? Very mild, and there you go. Snow in Bridlington today at last, maybe more in February. Hi Peter, and yeah, I'm not surprised actually. I did see a little bit of a snow band develop along the east coast. That it did drift inland a little bit. They did drift a little bit inland. I think the snow is going to stay forever at this point. It has been there for 4 days, and it hasn't really moved, has it? James saying, just thinking this will be 10 days with snow on the ground now. Hasn't shifted at all. Yeah. To be fair, it has stayed a while here though. It happened on Monday morning was the last time it snowed, and it did a little bit, like, you know, a couple of centimetres, whatever, and after it had melted a bit from the rain, didn't melt that much though, but ever since then it's kind of stayed around. We did have a little bit of a snow shower, well, wintry shower. It was very wet snow a couple of days ago. That's been about it really. It's been quite dry and quite pleasant, to be fair. Quite sunny. Pleasant days anyway, lots of sunshine, much better than that doom and gloom grey charts we saw earlier in the month. Jane saying very mild charts, the usual. Yeah, that's to be expected after a cold spell in this country. It doesn't last for long, does it, before whoop, in comes the Atlantic. It's a shame, because I thought that at this point there was going to be a breakdown of the cold spell at the beginning, so around here, like on Saturday. I actually thought this was going to be a breakdown, but this block to our north is a little bit too powerful. There was like a weather front, and I thought it was going to move inland, but the block to our north is way too powerful to allow that to happen. Is there any snow on the forecast? Probably not. Well, there's 2 or 3 runs showing it for Birmingham, and then very little after that. It does look very glum, very not promising for the north. A couple of little flakes, but it's 1 out of 33. It's no to worry about, really. There. So, well, what do I say? What do I say about that? Not much is what is the answer. We'll bring up do these charts here, if I can find them. Other bookmarks, and this one. There we go, and then I need to change the date, because it's set to the 11th of the 1st, and it is the wrong year, 2025, and that'll be, what is it, the 9th of the 1st. The 9th of the 1st, wrong one, changed the wrong number. That'll be the 01, and then that's 09. There we go, got him. It's a 240, so 10 days and 14 days, and we'll have a look at the other one. So in 10 days' time, these are scenarios from the ECM. All look quite mild besides this one, possibly. So how many? 15 of members have high pressure just to our east. Low pressure's out to the west. Looks like winds are very mild there, with the winds from the southeast there. 13 members have high pressure just to the north and over the top of the country. Around that, winds are in from a slack easterly, but mainly we're under the high pressure, so probably quite mild. 12 with low pressure bounding in from off the Atlantic, high pressure to the south. Winds in from the southwest, most unsettled in the north and the west. We've got 7 with high pressure still slightly blocking to our west, mid-Atlantic ridge. We've still got a ridge to the south though, and low pressure to the north. So it's either winds from the north or winds from the west. You'd assume winds from the west. And 4, finally, with a very mild pattern. Oops, that's meant to be high pressure to towards Scandinavia, and just to our east, low pressure to the west. Winds are in from a mild southwesterly. So at day 10, all options pretty much look mild. In 2 weeks' time, this is not looking good if you want cold. But I'm not sure how many of you do. 27 with low pressure to our west. High pressure depends where that high pressure sits, but it is to our east. Winds could be trying to come around from that direction, from the east. However, you'd probably expect milder winds to still be in control from like the west southwest sort of thing. With 24, however, though, low pressure's rattling in from off the Atlantic, high pressure to the south, and winds are in from the west. So all options look depressing at day 10 and 14 if you want cold. But if you want mild weather, probably be quite unsettled, but it does look quite mild there. We'll have a look at the ECM WF runs to round things off. Not a very long live stream, I do apologize. There's not really much to say though, is there? But I hope you did all enjoy this live stream. When it loads, come on internet, you're meant to be very fast. There we go. Right. Means of pressure, 500 HPI, and we'll have a quick look through this, see if there's anything interesting. So, this is what it's showing at the moment. We've got 40 of you in here, thank you all for joining. If you've got any other charts you want to see, then please do let me know. There we go. We want to see what it shows. So this is the first week. You can just see it off the charts. Monday the 13th to the 20th of January. From the outset, we have high pressure sat over and just to the east of the country, and around that, winds are in from a very mild, like westerly well, what? Southwesterly direction. Again, emphasised by this, lots of high pressure over the top of the country. Temperature anomalies are very mild. On the scale, it is 3 to 6 degrees above average for the north. Slightly cooler in the southeast, but it's still above average. It could be from a slack easterly flow around the high for a time, keeping it quite cold overnight. Week 2 is look away if you want cold. Low pressure towards Greenland and Iceland and just generally to the north. High pressure to our east. Towards France and Italy and all them places, and like Belgium, Netherlands, all them places, with winds in from a very mild southwesterly. Oh dear. Again, emphasised by this, actually looks very mild there. Temperature knowledge you'd expect to be above average, and they significantly are. 1 to 3 degrees, even 2 weeks away. 1 to 3 degrees above average, very mild. Week 3 is the 27th to the 3rd of Feb. And the pattern remains. Low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, and winds are in from the southwest, so enjoy the mild weather. If you enjoy it, if you like it. That looks exactly the same, and 1 to 3 degrees above average. Week 5 is the 3rd to 10th of Feb, very much similar. I'm not going to draw it out again because it's the same pattern. High pressure again to the south, low pressure to the north, and winds are in from the west or southwest. Again, very mild. Wow, this is dreadful. It would be a bit boring if this came off because it'd just be sat on the same thing every day. Just have westerly, southwesterly every day. Might be quite pleasant though in the south and the east, I will say that. But in the west and the north, it'll probably be dreadful with precipitation around. But week 5, it slightly tilts and is slightly less volatile, but low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, and winds remaining from the west. Very mild again, and finally, with those temperature anomalies, they are above average, so basically they're looking mild, till the very end. I will say the ECM has been getting it wrong a lot with these 6-week charts. Anything past day 10 is uncertain, so there you go. Easy sends, I could do some warm weather so I could crack on. Well, you think you will be able to, John? I think you will be able to. Shy Society, I'd rather it be warm than high pressure freezing. No snow, UK weather trolls. That's true. I do actually want it to. I do want it to go now. It has lasted long enough, to be honest. Paul James said yes twice in 1 week. Not loads, but was nice finally. Yeah. Nice one. John said they need some high pressure to get clear sunny days, change solo up. Exactly. We do need some nice warm days. Well, not warm, but you know what I mean. Mild. Mild, but it's still only about 10, 11, 12 degrees. So, but we would like to see it a little bit I did show the rest of the run, Hazel, actually, on that. I did show it all. That's as far as it went, to be honest. But there you go. So I don't think there's much else to say about that. If it's not going to snow, don't get cold. Severe with cold weather with no snow, high pressure over a stay. Yeah, to be fair, I would like it to be warmer. That would have been quite nice. I suppose glad you finally got to see some snow. I would have been frustrated if I had none to see this big wall of melting coming. Yeah, it's going to last for a while by the looks of things. At least to the end of Jan, I would say. It does look like it will stay for a while. But if you enjoy that sort of weather, then your wish is the weather's command, I guess. And if you didn't like the cold, well, it's almost done. Of course, it's not done yet, John. But obviously, I think March and April are the most interesting months because it's the months when most things usually happen. But I do like to see some milder weather at times. At least if it's sunny. If it's wet and windy and rainy and horrible, then it doesn't feel warm. It still feels cold. So that's all I've got to say, really. But on that, but cheers all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the mild and all that stuff. We'll see if that fear is true, shall I say. And I'll see you all in the next video. Will be a video, not a stream, most likely. I'll think of something to do.